Hello everyone, welcome back to another video with me, Mystical Plays. And you're probably wondering where the builds are. They're up there. Because today's video is all about how you can improve your Sky Islands. But we're not starting with this just yet. We're going to start with the bad example as we usually do. And I'll just go over briefly what's wrong with this and how you can improve on it, even though you can probably see what's wrong with it. I'll tell you anyway. The first thing is obviously the shape of this Sky Island. It's not very natural looking, right? It's very straight and triangular. And the top portion of it, it's all flat. There's only one layer of dirt. And it just looks very, very ugly. Ugly. I mean, that's just the way I'll say it. And then also this lake up here, where it's very small and have a big waterfall going straight down to the bottom. And it just doesn't look good at all. Not to mention the house looks horrible, but we're not going to talk about the house today because this video is all about the actual Sky Island itself. I guess that's really all that I have to say about this, right? It just doesn't look good. Now let's get to the good example. And yes, I have probably spent more time than I should have on this, but I think it's worth it. It's one of my favorite builds I've ever made, and I mean, like, just look at it. Like, this was definitely worth it, wasn't it? So I think the first thing I'll point out is, of course, as you can see, the shape of this main island here in the middle. It looks like a bowl, right? I think it looks a bit like a bowl. It resembles a bowl. And I think you should go for that kind of shape. I mean, you could go for a more jagged shape as well, like a sort of a bit of a triangular shape to it. But it can't look, you know, too symmetrical. It can't look too precise, right? It needs to look a bit rugged. Also, another thing I'll point out is, as you can see, this waterfall here. I think this looks really, really cool. And that's because I used just glass, stained glass for this. And it creates this really, really cool effect. I used cyan stained glass at the top to make it look a bit darker, then moved on to light blue stained glass, and then to white stained glass at the end, where the water particles sort of disperse. Because up here, you know, in the sky, there's usually a lot of wind, and that's why you can see all these flags. They're windy, right? You can see all the wind on these flags, and then you can see that the water is also blowing in the same direction. So it's like it's sort of curving a bit to that direction, right? As if the water particles were just sort of dispersing, right? That's why it's white at the end. It's kind of like inverted smoke. And so you don't have that ugly scenario where you have the water just flow down from the island down to the ground and just make this mess at the bottom. Because that doesn't really look too good, right? It doesn't really look too good. I think this looks a lot better, right? And we also have a waterfall over here. I think this looks really, really nice, right? It's basically the same thing. It's just water flows down. I have two of them here. And it just sort of curves at the end, right? Disperses at the end. Now, another thing I'll point out on this island is the fact that we have multiple blocks of depth, right, to the dirt, to the soil. And we have a little bit of a gradient, a little bit of a transition. As you can see, we have it from dirt to packed mud and then to gravel, or I found that dried coral also works very, very well, as you can see here. It sort of blends really, really well with the packed mud. And then it blends down to stone. And then I also have a stripe of andesite here, right? That's just to show some age, right? Maybe like it was the water level. Just like in real life, some rocks are striped, right? Because that's where the water level used to be at, and then it went up or went down. And that's how you know the age of certain rocks. It's really, really cool. So you can implement that in Minecraft as well, with cliffs and rocks like this. Now, I did just notice how little sense this pathway makes. Because it's not really a nice walk, you know, you just walk out your castle and you kind of just fall down there. That wouldn't really be, haven't really thought that one through. But I think in the new update later on this year, the new Happy Ghast will make a giant improvement to building Sky Islands in Minecraft. I'm really happy for that update, right? Happy Ghast, Sky Islands are going to be on the boom. They're going to be trendy again. There's going to be people building Sky Islands left, right, and center because of the Happy Ghast. But yeah, I think it's very important to texture the stone underneath it, right? I mean, it should be majority stone, and the shadow at the bottom already creates a kind of a gradual gradient. But I mean, just adding in patches of coal and andesite and other kinds of rocks, it really, really does help a little bit, you know. Then also at the end, at the bottom of the dirt, you can add in hanging roots, as if, you know, the grass will still had its roots hanging from the dirt. You can also add some trees to your Sky Islands. You have some trees here. Right, just some simple trees. I chose pine trees. Those are the easiest to make for me. And also up here, you know, it would probably be quite cold. I think pine trees would be a good inhabitant for this sort of scenario, right? It's like on the top of a mountain. I really, really love this island I made. It's just the most detailed one. I have textured it very, very nicely. I added some dripstone to the bottom over here. As you can see, you can blend stone the dripstone using coral in between, and it just looks so cool, dude. And we have the dripstone spikes at the bottom of the island, and it just looks so good. It looks so good, really. Not to mention this overhang here. This island kind of looks like, if you look at it from this side, the Spanish peninsula or whatever it's called. You know, like this is Spain and there's Portugal there, whatever. Anyway, I'm a bit of a geography nerd. But I really love this tree. It's a bit bent, as you can see. And it's tied down so that it doesn't fall over, right, from the overhang. And I just think that looks so cool. And you have the roots hanging from the bottom here. These tough walls, they look really cool as roots. And we have some glass, as you can see here. This is a really cool trick. Learned this from B00. As you can see, without the glass, it doesn't really look very good, right? The glass adds in a little bit of extra thickness to the look, right? I mean, just look at that. That just looks so much cooler now with the glass. But this video is not about trees. If you want me to make a video about trees, I might do that sometime soon. Although I only really do know how to make pine trees. I'm not really good with the other ones. But this video is still about the islands. So as you can see, greenery. Look at these vines. Look at the moss growing up the side of this island. I think it looks so cool. You know, you can blend it in with the moss and the mossy cobblestone. It just looks so nice. It looks so nice, dude. I'm a big fan of this. Also a big fan of the waterfalls and the stone here. Now, obviously, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, where does the water come from? Nobody knows, whatever. Ignore that. Not meant to really think about it too much. Also, this castle, I haven't built this castle just for this. I made that in a previous video. I'll link it in the iCard in the top right corner, where I have it built over there as well. I just copied it over. I also got this little tiny castle on this island, right? I think it's really cool when you have not just one island, but groups of islands together. Maybe even connected with bridges. So that, you know, your island doesn't just look so lonely, right? Maybe it has a clump of islands floating around together, right? But as to what you put on the top of your island, that's up to you, right? I chose a castle because I think that looks cool. You can put whatever you want, maybe a house, maybe something else, maybe even a rocket pad, right? That's up to you. But there's not really much more for me to say. And yes, I know this video has been quite quick, but I'm cooking something up for next time. So I'll see you then. And that's all from me, Mystical Place. So bye. Bye. Hope you got something from this. See ya.